But hey, what's good? Good morning, good morning. If you're watching this at night, good night. If you're watching this in the afternoon, good afternoon. But hey, good morning, YouTube. So today we're gonna react. Today we're gonna react to the 5 most disturbing Craigslist ads. I don't know if I said it right, but hey, if you're new around here, make sure to subscribe, turn on the bell, and leave a like. It will help a lot. But let's get started with this video.
In 2011, this job posting was uploaded to Craigslist, asking for someone to watch over a patch of farmland and feed a few cows somewhere in southern Ohio in exchange for $300 a week. It ended up being one of the most notorious cases of ad-related crimes of the decade. The ad read, "Caretaker position for farm, southern Ohio. Simply watch over a 688-acre patch of hilly farmland and feed a few cows. You get $300 a week and a nice 2-bedroom trailer. Someone older and single preferred, but we'll consider all. Relocation a must. You must have a clean record and be trustworthy. This is a permanent position. The farm is used mainly as a hunting preserve, is overrun with game, has a stocked 3-acre pond, but some beef cattle will be kept. Nearest neighbor is a mile away. The place is secluded and beautiful. It will be a real getaway for the right person. Job of a lifetime. If you are ready to relocate, please contact ASAP. Position will not stay open. Include name, age, phone number, and email, please." Some of the men who responded to the ad were interviewed directly by a man who identified himself as Jack, along with his 16-year-old accomplice, Brogan Rafferty, whom he referred to as his nephew. The candidates who made it to the interview stage said they didn't notice anything strange about Jack or his so-called nephew, and that they just looked like a couple of farmers who needed someone to look after their land. Scott Davis, a 48-year-old man who was interviewed by Jack over breakfast at a little restaurant in Marietta, Ohio, was the second to last candidate to go through the screening process for the job. After breakfast, he rode with Jack and Brogan to a remote wooded area near Akron. Immediately after getting out of the car to survey his surroundings, Davis heard a clicking sound. He turned around to see Jack pointing a gun at him. It was then that he realized that the click he heard had been the gun misfiring, but before he could react, Jack shot him in the elbow. Despite the wound, Davis managed to escape. He ran for his life for 7 hours through the woods, eventually finding a house and asking the owner for help. They called 911, and news about the incident began to spread. 5 days later, police received a call from a woman named Deborah Bruce, who claimed that her 51-year-old twin brother David Pauly had responded to the same job ad on Craigslist. According to Deborah, her brother had driven from Virginia to Ohio with all his belongings in his car, in the hopes that the new job would work out for him and help him get back on his feet. Tragically, a couple days later, police found the body of David Pauly, along with the body of another victim by the name of Ralph Geiger, buried in the woods close to where Scott Davis had been shot in the elbow. At this point in the case, investigators were able to identify a pattern in the victims. Jack and Brogan targeted homeless, down on their luck, or otherwise vulnerable middle-aged men with limited family ties and lured them to an isolated location under the appearance of a life-changing job opportunity, only to later rob them of all their belongings and shoot them on the spot. Their hope was that because of their few family ties, their disappearance would go unnoticed, giving Jack and Brogan enough time to bury the bodies and get rid of the evidence. This pattern explains why certain candidates were rejected during the interview process, such as 58-year-old Ron Sanson, a former Navy officer with a college degree, and an unnamed woman in her 20s who had also applied for the job. During the investigation, police traced the Craigslist ad, which led them to the home of a man named Joe Bice in Akron, Ohio. He denied posting the ad and claimed that it was probably posted by the man who rented out his basement space. When police asked Joe Bice for the name of his tenant, he responded that he only knew him as Dutch. Investigators were able to track Dutch down thanks to a phone call that he made to Joe Bice, unaware that his landlord had been in contact with the police. On November 16, 2011, police arrested Dutch and identified him as 52-year-old Richard Beasley. Scott Davis immediately confirmed that this was the same man who had interviewed him at the restaurant and shot him in the woods. Apparently, Richard Beasley had fled from the police and used different identities to avoid being detected, even using the names of some of his victims. Around that time, police also arrested Brogan Rafferty, Richard Beasley's teenage accomplice. At the time, Brogan was a 16-year-old high school student from Stowe, Ohio, whom Beasley had mentored and taken under his wing. police searched Rafferty's house and found several weapons, as well as a disturbing poem hidden in his computer files from August 16, 2011. The chilling poem read, "We took him out to the woods on a humid summer's night. The loud crack echoed and I didn't hear the thud." Investigators later determined that the poem described the murder of Ralph Geiger, one of the victims police had found in the woods. A few days later, on November 25th, a fourth victim, a 47-year-old man named Timothy Kern, was found dead in the woods behind a mall in Akron. In 2013, Brogan Rafferty was sentenced to life without parole, and Richard Beasley was sentenced to execution after being found guilty of 27 total accounts of aggravated murder, aggravated robbery, kidnapping, and possession of illegal weapons. This innocent-looking job ad ended up being one of the most notorious luring posts in the site's history, and it played a strong contributing role to the sketchy connotation that Craigslist carries nowadays.
Yo, I'm gonna tell you this, bro. Whenever y'all looking for a job or whatever, or this was in June 2010, but anyways, if you're looking for a job, right? If you're looking for a job and you like go to websites and stuff like that to find jobs and stuff like that, gotta make sure it's legit, bro. Gotta make sure it's legit. Why? Cause things like this could happen to you or to any of us. We could be searching for jobs and stuff, and they were looking for jobs, bro. They were looking for jobs, thinking if they get this job, they're gonna be better in life. You know what I'm saying? Yo.
On January 2nd, 2016, a disturbing ad was posted in the personal section of Craigslist. The personal section was a place where people could post personal ads for a variety of reasons. It was an interesting mix between an online dating platform, a space where people could rant and share their opinions on personal experiences, and a place for people to find friends with similar interests. Although most people use the personal section for legitimate reasons, it was also notorious for scams and other illegal activities, which is why Craigslist completely removed the section in 2018. This particular ad was posted by a person claiming to be a serial killer. Disturbingly, the post mentioned 2 public officials by name, and the person who uploaded the ad said that they would strike again. The ad read, "Tulsa murder. I was wanting to thank Tulsa for letting me have my first kill. It all started here, so I was thinking it should also be my first. I was nervous as hell, but I will get over it. It was a stranger on stranger, so the police will have a difficult time. It will not be my last though. Thinking about going to OKC for next. To the people who started it all, Julie Free, Judge Glasgow." On the day that it was posted, the ad was immediately reported to the police, and an investigation was launched by the Tulsa Police Department. Specifically, the ad thanked a woman named Julie Free, an employee of the Department of Corrections, and Judge Glasgow, who worked in the probate division of the Tulsa County District Court. The post thanked them and referred to them as the people who started it all. Because Julie Free and Judge Glasgow worked in overlapping departments and would sometimes interact with the same offenders, police believe that the ad had to have been posted by someone who had at some point been involved in the criminal justice system, and that it might have been an act of revenge to stain their image. Craigslist provided the Tulsa Police Department all the information available about the post, but it didn't really lead anywhere. According to the police, there had been no recent crimes that matched the description provided in the ad. The police department said that the ad was probably a hoax, but they never found any evidence to prove it, which means it's still possible the post could have been legit. The homicide unit claimed that they had seen a similar situation before when a 918 number texted random people disturbing questions about where to bury a body. The thing about the ad that alarmed the police was that it specifically named 2 public officials, but to this day it hasn't been confirmed whether this was just some sort of revenge hoax or if something much more sinister was going on. A 15-year-old girl named Haley Turner posted a Craigslist notice stating that she was, quote, "looking to be abducted and taken away." Although the post immediately gained a lot of online attention, as far as I was able to find, images of the actual ad itself are no longer available. On August 7th, Haley left her house in Michigan and told her mother that she was going to run an errand. A few minutes later, she called a friend on the phone. During the conversation, she mentioned to her friend that she had noticed a man lying in the ditch in the middle of the road, and that she was going to get out of her car to see if he was okay. A few seconds later, Haley uttered the words, "He has a gun," and the phone was suddenly disconnected. Terrified, the friend immediately called Haley's father, who drove to the area just north of Ohio in Bedford Township and found his daughter's car running in the road, but Haley was nowhere to be found. Haley was immediately reported as a missing person, and an investigation was launched to find her. Strangely, police found that at 10:06 p.m. on August 7th, Haley had rented the DVDs for 2 movies from a family video store a few miles from Toledo, Ohio. The phone call with her friend had taken place a few minutes after that. 16 hours after her disappearance, a local resident found Haley standing at a random corner holding a puppy in Ecorse near Detroit. Although she was completely unscathed, she claimed that she had been abducted at gunpoint the night before and that she had jumped from a moving vehicle to escape her captor. The whole story didn't really seem to add up, and police had a hard time believing her. The video footage from the DVD store where she was last seen didn't show anything suspicious, and there were no signs on her body suggesting that she had been attacked. After hours of questioning, Haley Turner eventually confessed and pleaded guilty to causing a false police report to be filed. She was sentenced to 3 years probation and 1 month of community service, and was fined $15,000 to reimburse the sheriff's office for the 16-hour search. Although her motives for faking her own abduction were never revealed, her mother mentioned that it had been an emotionally difficult year for her daughter, and that although she didn't justify her behavior, she interpreted the fake abduction as a cry for help. Some of Haley's other strange Craigslist posts indicated that she had a tendency to seek attention online, but these posts have since been deleted and are no longer publicly available. Disturbingly, police revealed that one man did actually respond to the ad, but Haley decided to fake her disappearance by herself instead of communicating with him. The fact that someone responded to this ad and was willing to carry out the abduction of an 18-year-old girl for money is pretty concerning. And what makes this even creepier is that the man who responded to Haley's ad asking to be abducted was never found by police. Craigslist on July 21, 2009, by a man claiming to be a Baltimore area homeowner. The ad pretty much speaks for itself, and it reads, "By now you've probably heard of the Glenn Burney family that stored their 83-year-old grandmother's dead body in a freezer. It turns out that no law was broken. Yep, dumping a body is legal around here. Healthcare workers and other professionals are required to report deaths, but ordinary citizens are not. And apparently no state law prohibits the burial or storage of a body on private property. I'm a laid-off Baltimore area homeowner. After 10 months of unemployment and the future looking even more grim, I'm willing to consider allowing my backyard to be used for body dumping. Call it a private burial if you prefer. I could probably take a half-dozen bodies without arousing the attention of neighbors. It wouldn't hurt to have one under the garden too. Me, a discreet Baltimore County homeowner with a half-acre of easily tillable property on a quiet dead-end street. You, an individual, not a healthcare worker or other professional required to report a death, with the awkward inconvenience of disposing of a deceased relative, friend, colleague, or acquaintance. You must provide your own trash bags, tarp, quicklime, shovel, etc. I might be available to hold a flashlight, but I won't do any heavy lifting. Accidental deaths or natural causes only. I'm not getting involved in any shenanigans with Omar wannabes. I will not be a participant in or any accessory to any sort of crime. This is a limited time offer. Act now before the state legislature changes the law. If and when the law changes, measures failed 10 years ago after the 1999 incident, you'll be grandfathered, literally and figuratively."
Bro, the site itself is creepy, bro. The site itself, bro. There's a lot of reflection in my glasses, but the site itself, it's creepy, bro. Like, body dumping location available. What the actual F, bro? How's this like even legal to? Probably isn't legal no more. But how was that legal before, bro? The whole written scripture, whatever this is, bro, the site. It's disturbing, bro. This shit is disturbing, bro. Look what he said. This is a time offer. Act now before the legislature. I don't know how to read. Changes the law. If and when the law changes may sure failed 10 years ago after the 1999 incident, you'll be a grandfather literally and bro, what? How is this? How is this even? Yo, this is disturbing, bro. This is disturbing, actually.
Post itself is off-putting enough, but the context behind the ad is even more disturbing. The links in the ad are both broken, but using the Wayback Machine, I was able to find a 2009 version of the website Welcome to Baltimore Hun, which appears to be a sort of online guide for users to upload news and posts about their experience living in Baltimore. The link in the Craigslist ad leads to a blog post written by a man named Gnome Sane. The article goes deeper into the reasons why he uploaded the ad to Craigslist and what he hoped to accomplish with his underground private burial business.
Bro, it says, when I read about the Glen Burnie family that stored their 83-year-old grandmother in the freezer, my first response was shock. Then
a few users asked the man if they could use his backyard for a burial. The fact that the uploader of the ad explicitly mentioned that he wouldn't get involved in any criminal activity by burying anyone who hadn't died of natural causes has created a lot of online speculation. Using his backyard as a body dumping location would have been perfectly legal, and the only reason the ad stayed up for so long was because the man wasn't advertising an illegal service, such as burying people who had been murdered. This has made some people think that the only reason why he mentioned that he wouldn't get involved with any crimes in the first place was so that he could keep his ad up on the site, all while responding to emails and getting involved in much more shady body dumping business behind the scenes. But it was never confirmed whether this was actually the case. Despite the disturbing nature of the ad, the claims Gnome Sane made in the Craigslist ad are true. In 2009, it was legal for ordinary citizens to abstain from reporting a death and dump a body in Maryland, and the incident that he makes reference to in the ad really did happen. In 2009, police were called to an apartment in Glen Burnie, Maryland, because the body of 83-year-old Doris Lee Cook was in the freezer. Police were told that the grandmother had died several weeks ago in the apartment she shared with her family, and because they had no money for a proper burial, they stored her body in the freezer for 2 weeks. The other incident that the ad mentions happened in 1999 and involved a 25-year-old father named Richard Marshall who buried his 4-year-old daughter in a garbage bag in the woods in Severn, Maryland. The little girl had passed away in an accident 8 months earlier, and because no law was broken, Richard Marshall was only charged for littering. Since then, several measures have been proposed to make body dumping illegal in Maryland.
This is the end of the video. If y'all enjoy these type of content, you'll know what to do. Subscribe. It's free. It costs you nothing. It's free. And turn on the bell so you won't miss a video. Like the video. That will help a lot. Please, that will help a lot. Comment whatever you want. Share the video with your friends and family, whatever, if they like these type of content. And yeah, I'm gonna see y'all guys on the next video. Peace.